In the top stories, police probing two shooting incidents, a new twist in the chicken wing importation saga, and primary and secondary school netball heats up. Welcome to Nation News for Friday, June 13th, 2014. I am Natasha Beckles. Police are investigating two shooting incidents. The first occurred in Blackman Field, the Pine St. Michael last night, where a 46-year-old resident of the area was reportedly shot in his right leg just after 9 p.m. He was also robbed of a gold chain. Police Public Relations Officer Inspector David Welch said investigations indicated that he was walking along the road when two men armed with guns attacked him. He was taken to the QEH by ambulance where he was treated and discharged. Meanwhile, police are also looking into this morning's shooting of 46-year-old Charles Stout of Parish Land Christchurch, who received several gunshot injuries whilst in that area. He was reportedly shot after being involved in a dispute with a close relative who fled the scene. Stout was transported to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital by ambulance and underwent surgery. The chicken wing importation saga took a new twist today. Barbados Agricultural Society Chief Executive Officer James Paul got wind that the owners of Lucky Horseshoe and Paulo's Churrasco do Brasil would be moving the wings into cold storage today, and he turned up to see for himself. Speaking at Tropic Ice in Salter St. George, where the wings will be stored, Mr. Paul once again expressed his displeasure at the move, which he said was detrimental to local businesses.
This country is going through tremendous economic problems. The money that was used to bring in these chicken wings was not money that was earned, US dollars that earned in this country. This is money that the government went out and borrowed. And what I'm saying is that when you're taking borrowed money like that, just trying to invest it in our productive sectors so that we have the capability for the future to earn more money. This is not what is happening here. And what I'm saying is that this is where businesses in this country need to recognize that government alone will not be able to pull this country out from the economic recession that we are facing.
A representative of Paul's Enterprises Limited, which owns the two restaurants, said the company would comment on the issue when necessary. Minister of Industry Don Valinis has said his ministry did nothing wrong in sanctioning the importation of 2 containers of wings. He said the mechanism governing imports allowed for 140,000 kilograms of poultry products to be imported monthly. As has become the norm each year, several parents turned up at the Ministry of Education this morning seeking to have their children transferred from the secondary schools to which they were allocated. Many said the schools to which the children were assigned were too far from their homes. In one case, a child who lives in St. Philip was allocated to St. Lucie Secondary. At least one mother said her child was asthmatic and she didn't want him to travel long distances. Minister of Education Ronald Jones and Chief Education Officer Laurie King have both said chances of transfers were very slim. Minister of Tourism Richard Seeley is insisting that the granting of concessions and incentives has caused the tourism sector to respond favorably, despite the belief in some circles that local tourism is dying. He said this was evidenced by Sando's $130 million investment in the former Aman Casarina, as well as the planned reopening of Sandy Beach Hotel and the sale of the Amaryllis Hotel. Speaking last night at the 40th anniversary dinner of International Travel Connections at the Fairmont Royal Pavilion, Mr. Seeley also pointed to the government-led investment in the Sam Lawrence Castle property as a signal of confidence. He said the only hold-up now was that government wanted to include land adjacent to Sam Lawrence Castle to construct a very large development. The local movie Hush will be coming to the theatrical stage next month. Praise Academy of Dance Barbados and Corar Arts Dance Conference will host the 3-day presentation called Glorious. It will use music, drama, and dance to examine the issues affecting young men, as well as teenage pregnancy and sexual abuse. Speaking during a press conference at First Baptist Church, director of Hush the Movie and Chief Executive Officer of Praise Academy, Marcia Weeks, said the production deals with issues that Barbadians generally do not want to talk about publicly. Several Several Methodist ministers from across the Caribbean were among those at James Street Methodist Church this morning for the funeral service for the Reverend Philip Saunders. Described as a solid example of ministerial integrity, Mr. Saunders died earlier this week at age 91. He served in the Methodist Church in Barbados and the Caribbean for over 60 years. Eulogist Reverend Dwayne Sam of the Tobago Methodist Circuit hailed the late clergyman as a man in whom people of all ages found support. Prime Minister Frondell Stewart and Rotarians were among those paying last respects. The interment took place at the Bethel Methodist Church, where Mr. Saunders served on 3 occasions. In sports, Kent Construction Limited Blackman and Gollop A predictably cruised into the semi-finals of the Pine Hill Dairy National Sports Council Primary Schools Championship when the action continued this morning at the netball stadium. Blackman and Gollop, who had placed second in the 2013 tournament, shook off a slow start to dismiss All Saints Primary 19-6. Meanwhile, a superior shooting performance by Grantley Prescott failed to help them to get past Bay Primary, with Bay taking the match 13-11. The semis will be staged next Thursday at the netball stadium, with Blackman and Gollop playing Luther Thorne and St. Giles meeting Bay Primary. In other netball news, the semi-finalists in the Barbados Secondary Schools Under 15 Netball League have been decided. They are defending champions Springer Memorial, Parkinson Memorial, Coleridge and Parry, and Queen's College, who all qualified with impressive performances yesterday at the netball stadium. Springer Memorial ran away 24-8 over Combermere, while Parkinson edged Alexandra 14-13. Queen's College used their speed and strong center court to defeat Leicester-Vaughan 35-12, and Coleridge and Parry turned back the St. Michael's School 24-14. Next Tuesday, Springer will play CP and QC will battle Parkinson. And finally, an Arizona woman eating at a Burger King says she found a razor blade in her salad. Jennifer Ashley recalls that immediately after the incident, she showed it to a manager at the Flagstaff branch of the fast food chain. Burger King says an employee admitted the blade left on a shelf accidentally fell into a tub of lettuce. But the company maintains that razor blades are not allowed in or near food preparation areas. The employee has since been fired, and Ashley says she received a refund and a free salad. And that's Nation News for Friday, June 13th. Do enjoy your weekend, and remember you can get your news on our website nationnews.com, as well as our YouTube channel, Facebook, and Twitter.